Bryce, today we know who you are, right? We hear your testimony. We've seen you fight. We've seen you fight for America when you're, giving your opinions. You're strong. You don't hold back. You're in a sport where the boss allows you to do that and doesn't even think about it. He doesn't even think about allowing you. It's like, no, you should do it. You have the freedom of speech, right? But if you and I were in high school together, 10th grade, who was Bryce Mitchell in 10th grade?
Well, so what got me into farming? Number one, and what made me who I am today, a huge moment happened. But first off, my Mimi grew up on a farm, and I think that is in my blood because she said that she was dirt poor. I mean, she's so poor she didn't have 2 pairs of clothes. But when she was near the end of her life, she would tell me, I wish I'd go back to that farm. She said, that's the best time of my life. She said, we was dirt poor. We didn't have nothing. They didn't have toys. They played with sticks, They didn't have nothing. But they never were hungry. They always had food. They bathed in the creek, and that's what she told me about. And she said, that was the best time of my life. And that always stuck with me. Now, what made me want to farm? What made me...
Who were you in high school? I want to know who you were when you were 14 years old, 9th grade, 10th grade. If we interviewed 10 guys and gals, teachers, coaches in high school, who would they say Bryce Mitchell was?
Well, when I was 16, that's when the biggest revelation, besides Jesus Christ, that I've ever had happened to me. When I was 16 years old, based upon my own research, because I am a source of information, even though they don't let you cite yourself. I am a valid source of information, and I don't do no bullshit. I tell the truth, and if I don't know it's true, I won't say it. But I'm telling you, I know. And I knew when I was 16 that our government orchestrated 9/11 and brought them towers down. I know it. Our government, white people, white rich politicians, not brown people with box cutters. I'm telling you, white people brought down them Twin Towers. Now, I told my mom. She didn't believe me at first. It took her about 10 years to actually believe me. Now my mom knows. A lot of my family knows. My wife knows. My friends know. Everybody. A lot of my inner circle, they agree with me on this stuff. But when I was 16... ain't nobody would believe me. And I was a lunatic. And so from that point, I deduced, okay, look, our government's killing our own people. And I mean, this ain't no theory in my head. I know it's a fact. I can give you all the evidence. They used thermate to melt the beams at a 45-degree angle. Then they blew some of them up. They probably shot the Pentagon with the missile and didn't hit it with the plane at all. I'm telling you, it was a very orchestrated attack from the inside. It had nothing to do with Muslims. Okay, I figured all this out when I was 16. And so I figured out, okay, wait a second. This corrupted government, they're already killing our people, like genociding our own people. It's going to get worse. And so from then on, I started thinking, what do we do? How am I going to be like George Washington or Paul Revere? Am I going to kill all these bad guys? And I said, no, there's no way. The one explanation that will lead to freedom more than anything else, starting a farm. Controlling your own food. And so when I was 16 years old, I basically went down this search for truth, and it led me to the fact that the most substantial thing I can do is start a farm. That's how I can fight this evil. And so I farm today, not just because I like steak, because that's one of the reasons. I mean, I love steak, and they're never going to take my steak. I don't care what Bill Gates and all his armies of the devil want to do. They're never going to take my steak. They can take my life, but they will not take my steak. And I promise you that I love steak. Okay. And I love cows, pigs, chickens, all of it. Okay. But I deduced that the best way to be free is to first grow our own food. And that's why I do it.
What do you have on your farm right now?
Yeah, chickens, pigs, cattle. I'm working on a milk cow. That's coming by the end of the year. It's coming, brother. I grow watermelons. I'm like really, I'm naturally good at growing watermelons. I think all crops are great. But
what's the art to growing watermelons? Do you have a secret sauce?
No, sir. Just love and care. And, I've had a lot of people in my neighborhood that it's hard for them to grow their melons, and I always have an excess. I have so many melons, I can't eat them all. I'll show you a picture. I'm not kidding you. My phone's in my bag out there. But, you, yeah. I can show you a picture of me with 50 watermelons piled up. And it's like, I can't eat them all. I've given them out to my neighbors. I give them to the chickens. I give them to the cows. I literally can't eat all of the melons I can grow. But I think maybe the Holy Spirit blesses me a little bit. But, I get in,
cool.
I care about the melons. I get in there, I pick the weeds by hand, I water them every night.
Is that your favorite? Is watermelons are your favorite? Or
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you and I both, because I can have watermelons nonstop.
Yep.
Matter of fact, every day I eat watermelon with cheese. As a Middle Eastern, we grew up, we would, goat cheese, you mix it together. And I used to do when I was 5, 6 years old with my grandfather in Bandar Pahlavi. Bandar means port. Pahlavi is the name of the city. It's northern Iran. We used to sit there and we used to eat, watermelon with cheese, which was my thing. So you're a watermelon guy, farm. That's how you got into it. So when I ask you about 16 years old, you went straight to 9/11. Is that because that was you? You were like, I'm telling you, they're doing something there. You don't. So you lacked trust in the government since you were that young. 16.
That was the year that.
What caused that?
I deduced that 9/11 was an inside job.
How did that happen?
Based upon evidence. There's too much evidence to suggest that our politicians did it. They made too much money. There's too many clues. I mean, there's so much evidence. It'd take me days to sit here and tell you all of it. But I know, and I don't think I know based on my own research, that 19 guys with box cutters did not do that.
Okay, so when you say you think America is one of the greatest countries in the world, right? Based on what? What do you love about America? And also at the same time, some people will say, well, America's got a history. We've done a lot of things as well. We got, our own set of skeletons we have in a closet that we've done stuff. What part of America is the America you love? What part of America is like, that's not the America I love? How do you decipher between the two?
Well, the freedom. I mean, that's the simplest answer that I can give you. There's not another place where you can have guns and the Bible. I mean, where else can you have a Bible and have a nice rifle with it? You can't. I mean, in China, they'll cut your head off in some of these parts for having a Bible. They're trying to rewrite the Bible over there in China. And these other countries where you can hold a Bible, you can practice religion, you sure as hell can't do it with a rifle in your hand. America is the home of the free and the brave. I'm telling you, there's not another place like it. And then, of course, you just look at the land, I mean, it's just amazing. The trees, the grass, the Mississippi River is right there in Arkansas. It's just like it's the most fertile farmland in the world.
Interesting. So now, 9/11, if you say that's part of U.S.'s history on the negative side of what's been done, because the U.S. blamed weapons of mass destruction. You want to call it President Bush. Hey, this is what's going on. Dick Cheney, I think it's the day before, whatever, $2 trillion went missing. Look, $2 trillion have been missing. They even reported on it. I don't know if you've seen that clip or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rob, have you seen that clip where they're like, $2 trillion been missing. We'll figure it out. We don't know where it went. But, it's not like every day. I mean, I'm sure you got $100,000 missing in your bank account. It's just a regular Tuesday. We happen to have $2 trillion. This is the one. Watch this here for the audience that hasn't seen it.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
That's
2.3 trillion with a T.
The very next day, 9/11, the accounting officer were destroying the Pentagon. $2.3 trillion was not. I don't know if that's an accurate exact date or not. Obviously, that's the stories when you hear about them. By the way, Bryce Mitchell is officially on my neck. So if you got any questions, you want to FaceTime with him, have a call with him, maybe even see what he's got going on in his backyard, you can connect Bryce Mitchell. This is his QR code. Ask him any question about today's podcast. Some tells me he's going to give you an entertaining response.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.